I never thought I'd find myself in a situation like this. Honestly, when I married Emily, I thought I knew everything about her, or at least I thought I knew enough. She was smart, ambitious, a little bitchy at times, but I loved that about her. We had a pretty good life, the kind of life where everything seemed to be in its place. Kids, a decent house, enough money. But in the last few months, I started noticing little things that just didn't add up. It started with her phone. She'd be secretive about it, always hiding it when I walked into the room. She'd get this defensive look, like I was invading her privacy, even though I wasn't really doing anything wrong. I'd catch her muttering under her breath when she thought I wasn't paying attention, and honestly, I thought maybe she was just stressed. Work had been rough, and maybe she was venting or something. But then I noticed her behavior around our daughter's music lessons. See, Emily's a stay-at-home mom now, but she used to work in marketing. She's been obsessed with our daughter's piano classes lately, constantly making a fuss about how talented she is, and how she's going to push her to get into some fancy music school. I wasn't paying much attention at first, just nodding along, but then I started overhearing snippets of phone conversations, things I didn't think she'd say in front of me. She'd be talking about lessons, extra practice, and even about the teacher, Mr. Collins. I thought I was imagining things until I remembered that she'd been acting weird during the lessons, always wanting to supervise and check the recordings, even when I told her she didn't need to. One night, I decided I'd had enough of her sneaking around. I installed a small voice-activated recorder in the house, right near where the lessons were held. I figured if she was hiding something, I'd catch her in the act. The first few days I didn't hear much, but then I started noticing strange noises after the lessons. A lot of rustling sounds, whispering, and once I swear I heard her moaning softly. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I thought maybe it was just her being loud during sex or something. But then I realized it wasn't her voice. It was deeper, more intimate. Then came the recordings that made my stomach turn into knots. One night I played the recordings. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was Emily in our living room whispering things to Mr. Collins, our daughter's music teacher. She was calling him baby, darling, and I even heard her moan a couple of times. It was all happening after the lessons, after I'd gone to bed. They were fucking right there in my house during what was supposed to be a private lesson. I felt sick. My mind just spun. How could she do this? How could she lie to me and pretend everything was fine? I never thought Emily was the cheating type. She's always been bitchy, sure, but I never thought she'd cheat on me with our daughter's music teacher. That bastard. The worst part is, she's been lying about everything. She said she was just helping him out with extra piano practice, that she was just trying to be a good mom. But the recordings tell a different story. They tell me she's been screwing around behind my back for months. I was furious, hurt, betrayed. I kept listening to those recordings, over and over, trying to convince myself it was some sick joke or a mistake, but there was no denying it. It was real and it was her. I couldn't sleep after that, just sitting in the dark, replaying the sound of her moaning and his voice, feeling like my world was crashing down. After I got the recordings, I didn't do anything right away. I needed time to process, to figure out my next move. But honestly, I'd never felt such a mix of anger and heartbreak in my life. I kept replaying her voice, that betrayal echoing in my mind, and I couldn't understand how she could do this to me, to our daughter. I've always been the one to work hard, keep things steady, and here she was, lying, cheating, sneaking around like some slut. I kept asking myself, why the hell did she do this? But I knew the answer. She's always been a bitchy, manipulative woman who loves to lie and get her way. She's the kind of girl who's always had a sharp tongue, who talks back, who thinks she's better than everyone else. She's been like that since we met. And honestly, I think she's always been craving some excitement, some thrill she's been missing from her boring life, and she found it in that asshole Mr. Collins. So I decided I'd confront her. I waited for the right moment, nothing too emotional, just straightforward. One evening, I sat her down in the living room, trying to keep my voice calm but angry underneath. She looked annoyed, defensive right away, like she knew I had found out. I laid the recordings out on the table, pressed play, and watched her face drain of color. Her eyes widened in shock, then quickly turned into that familiar bitchy glare. "Explain this," I said, voice low but tight. "Who the hell is this? What's going on between you and Mr. Collins? Don't lie to me, Emily, I know everything." She scoffed, crossing her arms, trying to act like she wasn't caught. "What are you talking about? That's not what you think. You're crazy. You're just hearing things. That's just a recording of, I don't know, some sex fantasy or something. You're overthinking it." I couldn't believe how she lied so easily. She's always been good at spinning stories, twisting everything to her advantage. "A sex fantasy? Really? That's your excuse? That's what you're gonna tell me after I hear her moaning in those recordings, after I hear her calling him baby? How stupid do you think I am?" She rolled her eyes, trying to brush it off. "Look, I don't know what you think you heard. Maybe it's just some sort of mistake. Maybe it's just you being paranoid because I've been busy with the kids and everything. You know how stressful life's been lately." I felt my blood boiling. Paranoid? No, Emily. I've got recordings, clear as day. You've been cheating on me with our daughter's music teacher, that bastard Collins. How long has this been going on? Don't lie to me now." She looked furious, trying to act innocent, but I saw the guilt in her eyes. "You don't know what you're talking about. You're making a huge deal out of nothing. I would never cheat on you. You're overreacting because you're insecure. Maybe if you paid more attention to me and the kids." That made me lose it. I cut her off. "Insecure? You think this is about me being insecure? You're the one sneaking around, lying to my face and screwing our daughter's teacher all behind my back. I trusted you, Emily. I thought I married a decent woman. Turns out I married someone who's just a lying bitch." She stormed out of the room then, screaming at me, calling me all sorts of names, trying to deny everything, but I wasn't listening anymore. I was too busy feeling like I'd been punched in the gut. Her words didn't matter. The recordings did. I had proof, and now I had to decide what to do with it. I never thought I'd be the guy to catch his wife cheating, especially with someone so close to home. It was like a sick nightmare, and I didn't see any way back from this. After that night, I knew I couldn't just sweep this under the rug or pretend it didn't happen. The betrayal was too raw, the evidence too clear. I didn't sleep at all, just lay there staring at the ceiling, replaying everything in my head. I felt so many things all at once: rage, heartbreak, disgust. I kept asking myself how long this had been going on, how many times she'd lied to me, and how I didn't see it earlier. I decided I needed a plan. I wasn't just going to confront her and hope she'd somehow change. No, I was going to make her see she couldn't keep lying or sneaking around. I wanted to hurt her the way she hurt me. That's when I decided to set a trap. I was going to use her own game against her. I put a second recorder in the house, this time near our bedroom, to catch any more of her lies or conversations. I also installed a hidden camera in the living room where I knew she'd be alone with him again. I needed to catch her in the act, or at least have enough evidence to make her admit everything. Over the next few days, I behaved normally on the surface. I kept my cool, pretended everything was fine, but inside I was planning my move. I watched her, listened to her, waiting for her to slip up again. The recordings from the bedroom confirmed she was sneaking out after the kids went asleep. I'd wake up to her leaving the house late at night, always claiming she was running errands or meeting up with friends. But I knew better now. I knew what she was doing. One evening she told me she was going to visit her sister for a few days. She packed her bags and left, giving me that fake smile and a kiss on the cheek. I watched her drive away, my hands clenched into fists. As soon as she was gone, I went into full surveillance mode. I turned on the camera, played back the last night's recordings, and I was stunned at what I saw. She brought her laptop into the living room, got comfortable on the couch, and then I saw him, Mr. Collins, coming through the back door. They sat close, whispering, then she got up and led him into the bedroom. I hit record again. The sounds of their muffled voices, the rustling of clothes, and then that unmistakable sound of fucking. I could hear her moaning again, just like before. It was all right there, the proof I needed. This wasn't some misunderstanding or a one-time slip-up. It was ongoing, planned, and deliberate. I felt my insides twist. I couldn't believe she'd been doing this right under my nose all this time. The woman I thought I knew was just a manipulative, lying bitch. I didn't know if I should feel more angry or broken. All I knew was that I had to do something. I couldn't keep living like this, pretending everything was fine when she was out screwing some dude in my own house. I waited until the next morning, feeling the weight of what I had seen. I decided I'd confront her again when she got back, but this time I'd be ready. I'd lay everything out, show her I had the evidence, and see what she'd say then. At that moment, I knew my marriage was over. The trust was completely shattered. I wasn't going to just forgive her, not after everything I'd uncovered. This was a game changer. I had the power now, and I was going to use it. When Emily finally returned from visiting her sister, I was already waiting in the living room. I'd spent the entire day preparing, going over every detail, making sure I had everything I needed to confront her. I felt sick, but I also felt a strange sense of clarity, like I finally saw her for what she really was. She looked exhausted, but still had that bitchy smirk on her face like she thought she was clever. She walked in, threw her bags on the couch, and started acting like everything was normal. But I wasn't in the mood for her games anymore. I sat her down and just laid it all out. The recordings, the videos, everything I knew. I told her I had caught her red-handed, that I knew about her affair with Mr. Collins, and that I wasn't going to keep pretending I didn't see it. Her eyes widened, then her face twisted into this furious sneer. "You've been spying on me," she spat. "You're a psycho. You think you can control everything in this house. I don't have to explain myself to you. You're just insecure, jealous, and paranoid. You have no proof of anything other than your crazy imagination." I handed her my phone, which had all the recordings and videos saved on it. "Here," I said coldly. "You want to deny it now? Go ahead. That's your voice, that's her voice. You've been lying to my face for months. How deep does this go? How many nights did you think I was just asleep in bed while you were screwing him?" She looked like she wanted to punch me. Her face was red, her eyes blazing with anger. "You're making a huge mistake," she yelled. "You're just upset because I don't want to be stuck in this boring life with you. I needed some excitement, some passion. Maybe I should thank Mr. Collins for actually giving me what I wanted." That comment made me sick. I couldn't believe she'd just admit it so openly, that she'd blame me for her cheating. I'd always known she loved to blame everyone else for her problems. But now I saw her true colors: vindictive, manipulative, a fucking bitch who thought she was entitled to do whatever she wanted. I told her to leave. Not just for the night, but for good. I was done pretending this was a mistake, done trying to fix something that was beyond repair. I wanted her gone, out of my house, out of my life. She screamed, calling me all sorts of names, trying to spin everything back on me. But I just sat there, calmly watching her lose her cool, feeling the weight of betrayal pressing down on me. As she packed her things, I couldn't help but feel a strange mix of relief and despair. I had the proof, I had the power, but I also felt like I'd lost the woman I once loved. Somehow, I found myself wishing I could undo everything, go back to that naive version of myself who believed in marriage, in fidelity, in honesty. But I knew I couldn't. The damage was done. And as she left that day, I realized I'd never see her the same way again. After Emily left, I stayed in the house alone, feeling more hollow than I ever had before. The silence was deafening. The house that once echoed with life now felt like a tomb. I hadn't cried yet, but I felt it bubbling up inside me, this mixture of rage, sadness, and a deep sense of betrayal. I kept staring at the recordings, the videos, trying to understand how I missed all the signs, how she could lie to my face for so long. That night, I couldn't sleep. My mind kept circling around what to do next. I knew I couldn't go back to how things were, not after what I had seen and heard. The trust was broken beyond repair. I had to decide whether to fight for the marriage, try to salvage it somehow, or just cut all ties and move on. I felt exhausted just thinking about the future, but I also knew I had to be strategic. I couldn't just rush into anything. The recordings were my leverage. I wanted her to understand just how badly she'd screwed up. So I called a lawyer the next day, told him everything, and asked what my options were. He advised me to document everything, keep all recordings safe, and prepare for a possible separation or divorce. I wasn't planning on letting her get away with this scot-free. Meanwhile, I started to think about the impact on our daughter. She's only 9, but I could see her growing more distant, more confused. I didn't want her to grow up thinking this kind of betrayal was normal, so I decided I'd tell her the truth, carefully, without bad-mouthing her mother. I told her that sometimes adults make mistakes and that it's okay to feel upset or confused, but that Daddy loved her and was going to do what's best for all of us. I didn't want her to think I was angry at her or that she was somehow responsible. Over the next few days, I began to distance myself emotionally from Emily. I stopped answering her calls, refused to engage in the arguments she kept trying to stir up. Her texts and messages were filled with accusations, blame, and that typical "you're overreacting" attitude. I didn't bother explaining anymore. I knew the truth, and I knew I had to stay strong for myself and my daughter. I also started planning my next move more carefully. I wanted her out of my house, but I didn't want to rush into something I might regret later. I decided I'd wait until I had all the evidence I needed and then approach the situation calmly. No yelling, no accusations, just facts. I wanted her to understand that her actions had consequences, that she couldn't just screw around and lie and expect everything to be fine. Honestly, the whole thing has left me feeling numb most days. I keep asking myself how I missed all the signs, how I didn't see she was capable of this. But deep down, I know it's not just about her cheating, it's about the fact that she's always been a bitchy, manipulative person who loved to twist things to her advantage. And now, I've finally seen her true face. It's going to take time to heal, but I know I'll be okay. I just need to figure out how to move forward with or without her. It's been a few weeks since Emily left, and I won't pretend it's an easy road ahead. Every day, I wake up feeling a little more broken but also a little stronger. The house is quieter now and honestly, a lot emptier without her bitchy comments and manipulative smirks. I've had some time to think about everything, what I want, what I need, and what I'll never tolerate again. What's surprising to me is how much clarity I've gained through all this chaos. I realize I was fooling myself thinking I knew her, thinking we had a solid marriage. Turns out, I was just too blind to see her real nature, her lying, manipulative side. It hurts to admit I was so naive, but I also feel liberated knowing the truth now. No more pretending, no more lies, no more sleepless nights wondering if she's hiding something. The betrayal cut deep, but it also set me free. I decided to file for divorce. I want her out of my life, out of my house, out of my mind. I don't want to be a victim of her manipulations anymore. I want to rebuild from this better, stronger, smarter. The recordings and videos I collected are my proof, my ammunition, but honestly, I don't even need to use them now. Just knowing the truth is enough. I need to focus on my daughter, making sure she's okay, and on healing myself. Looking back, I think what hurts most is knowing how much I trusted her, how I believed she was the woman I married. But the reality is she was just playing a role, pretending to be something she's not. I've learned that some people are just good at hiding their true selves until they're exposed. It's a hard lesson, but one I won't forget. As for advice, I'd say this: don't ignore the signs. If your gut is telling you something's wrong, listen to it. Don't brush it off or make excuses. And if you find proof of betrayal, don't be afraid to confront it. Facing the truth is painful, but it's necessary. Protect yourself and your sanity. Don't let someone's lies define you. You're better off without people who deceive and manipulate. Finally, I want to say that I'm choosing to move forward. I don't know what the future holds, but I know I won't let this ruin me. I'll rebuild, learn from this, and be cautious about who I trust next time. That's the only way I see to heal, by facing what happened, accepting it, and then letting it go. I'm grateful I finally saw her for what she is, even if it took a hell of a lot of pain to get here. Now, I'm just trying to focus on my kid and myself, and that's enough.